in about 2 days, the Epic Raid, or at least in 2 days from filming this video, the Epic Raid is going to be releasing. And I think out of all the contest raids we've ever had in the franchise of Destiny, this is probably the most underwhelming one, or the one people really don't care about as much. I think I haven't been on Twitter as much, but there's been hella teams that's already said like straight up they're not competing, or they really don't care, or they're boycotting it, whatever it may be, because they're all weird over there. I don't really care. But I feel like this might be one of the lower, at least for Destiny 2 standards, this might be one of the lowest player counts we will have for a day one contest, which is a bummer. But I think the game just isn't in a good spot right now where people want to play the game at all. I feel like the portal's good, but there's so many issues with it that Bungie they're not really sure what they want to do with it at all either. But people have to grind armor, there's grinding loot, you have to do all this stuff. A lot of stuff is broken in the game. There's just so much wrong with the game. It feels like a chore to play. So you have to play the chore to get ready for the raid that might also be bugged, because DP was a good raid, but the technical issues that raid had was by far the worst we've ever seen in Destiny for any raid on contest launch. This raid got delayed by a week, so there's 3 weeks out since the launch of Bastion Iron, which I hope is a good thing, that the raid comes out not half-baked at all. But we honestly cannot be too sure that will happen or not. I think every launch we've had, really, since it started Edge of Fate, every launch we've just having has been more and more buggy. Everything's just been going downhill progressively more and more. And it's really not good because people are already fed up with the game. You know, there's so many other things to play right now. Destiny Rising, in particular, just took a lot of the people away because as is doing everything Destiny does, but better. Like, I think the one thing Destiny had was the raid races, the contest day ones, and Destiny Rising has somehow kept up and probably even done better. I haven't seen too much on it myself, but they're just doing so much better that it's like, why would you play Destiny 2 when you could play another game that's free to play and doesn't require you to spend... I'm pretty sure it's a gacha, but I don't think you have to really pay anything. But you can spend like absolutely nothing basically compared to how much you would have to spend to get into Destiny, which is a whole different argument. But I think it is just the fact that Rising is taking away a lot of Destiny's players right now. Bungie hasn't been getting too good about changes, about consistently keeping up with the changes. It seems like they are not really sure what they want to do, because they make these really tone deaf changes, and it's changes that nobody asked for or that are too late, like nerfing Queen Breakers, all this stuff. Today for the TWID, we should get the ban list, and we'll see what they end up banning for the contest day one. But I hope it's actually things that are problematic and not just things that are good, because for the DP contest race, it felt like the things that were nerfed, or not nerfed, the things that were disabled for the day one raid, or were just things good. They weren't really buggy or anything. It just feels like they didn't really intend for these choices to be meta or people's go-tos, so they just went ahead and disabled it, and basically screwed over a lot of teams, because you know, you got to figure out what to use pretty close to launch. Now we have a lot more time and we're finding out what to use now, but it just didn't leave a good taste in everybody's mouth when this was easily the hardest contest day one we've had, and majority of the good options people were already practicing and using got disabled, and that didn't help. And then on top of all the bugs and things, it was just not a good experience for anyone. Bastion Iron overall hasn't been a good experience for a lot of people. I mean, the activity itself is pretty boring. In the portal, it's listed as 3 activities, but they're just 3 different spawn locations, which is like, okay. The loot's whatever. There's nothing really impressive. This was like marketed as an Into the Light kind of update, but I feel like even this compared to Into the Light it's not even close. It's not even in the same ballpark. I think this launch so buggy. There's just so many issues with it. There's not a lot of loot to chase. The power grinding, nobody really wants to power grind. There's so many issues that came with Rise of Iron, like the power grinding. The power grinding it's better, but even now with it being better, so many people still don't just want to go ahead and chase a number. That will get reset in a few months. And I'm not sure exactly what they can do about it, but it's definitely an issue because nobody really wants to play this game anymore. And I feel like the argument that we've been hearing a lot, this is just all time in Destiny, that we're listening. You know, the infamous "we're listening" thing. They are listening, but it feels like they're listening and they're just doing what they want to do anyway. Trust me, they're making some good changes, but it's like a lot of it feels like it's too little, too late. It feels like things that should have been there from the get go, and not things we should praise them for when they add them back later. There's no reason, if the community's up in arms about something we want changed, and they know before the launch that this wants to happen, and it doesn't happen, let's say for like 6 months, and on the 7th month they finally come around like, yeah, we're finally doing this. I don't really think we should be praising them for doing that, when if you just go to one YouTube video and go to the comment section, you could easily see everybody speaking about how this needs to change or they want this instead of that. They need to be looking at a lot of what people want and be on top of that instead of making a lot of these really weird decisions that they've been making. Because I feel like right now 12k players concurrently. I know there's a lot more of a player base on consoles than there is Steam, at least for Destiny, but even then this Steam player count is really low. Like the average players for the last 30 days was 20k, which isn't, it's not very good, but it doesn't look like it's going in a good direction, at least. And I am not really a D3 purist. I don't really care for a D3, but I think the issue comes up, or it comes up whenever D2 really just can't see its potential anymore. Like, you can tell they're milking D2. Eververse has been abysmal this season. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff in there, but I'm not spending money on it. But D2's not really hitting its potential anymore. And you start to wonder, like, how long does D2 have left in this tank? Because I feel like D2 could have wrapped up... Yeah, I feel like everybody said this. D2 could have wrapped up the Light and Dark saga. And even if Edge of Fate's story, that could have started in D3. I feel like, because I like the story in Edge of Fate, maybe not like a lot of the gameplay like Matterspark or anything like that much, but they could have started a D3 or done something completely different that really changes up the game. I think they tried to do that with the portal and like the power and stuff and the armor sets. I like the armor sets. I like chasing tier 5s, but ultimately then it's like we keep seeing player counts dip lower and lower. And I think after the Epic raid, at least, like I'm pretty sure most of my raid team agreed that, like, you know, we're probably done with Destiny for a couple of months. Like, there's no reason to play again until maybe getting prepped for the dungeon. And then that's if this raid race is even good, then we'll see about that dungeon race, because Destiny is becoming less and less enjoyable. It's becoming more of a chore. It's just, there's not much of a checklist to do as there used to be with the old power system, but there's more of a checklist now of things to do and things to grab. But yeah, I think we'll see how the outcome is of this raid race, of how people are playing. This is the first one that like a person is required to stream. I'll be streaming on my Twitch over there if you want to come and watch it. But yeah, I think we'll just see if it's worth $40. So I think this is the final drop for at least the Edge of Fate portion before Renegades. That will this, and then the exotic mission we have in October, which is crazy, by the way. The Ashen Iron update launches without the exotic mission, the biggest selling point. It's like they kind of bait you into playing or whatever. But yeah, but we'll see if the epic raid is worth it or not. But yeah, that's all for now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.